Hello, welcome to another interesting episode of Over the Bar podcast. And then today we are going to be talking about quite some interesting games that are coming over the weekend and in the coming week as well. And then on the panel as usual we have Shola here with us and then AY also here with us and my humble self Brown. So yeah, kicking off there has been, quite some interesting games in the middle of the week in the Champions League and also in the Europa League, and then of course it's arguable that we, witnessed one of the most interesting football matches of all time between PSG and Bayern Munich, and then some would say, oh, that match was so porous, defenders were, nowhere to be found. They weren't doing their job, hence the reason why they conceded a lot of goals. Some could say those goals were too good to be saved by any goalkeeper whatsoever. It doesn't matter your class or the caliber of goalkeeper you've been or your experience, but those strikers were too good. Some would say we are the best front three from both teams, arguably in the world right now. So it made a lot of talking points. And then you look at the other game between Atletico Madrid and Arsenal as well, that had some form of drama, if you like, in different phases of the game. Arsenal came, they tried to stifle Atletico, preventing them from playing their usual football, and then eventually got the goal through a well-deserved penalty. And then thinking, okay, they'll hold on to that lead going into the next leg. Unfortunately, when Atletico came in the second half, I don't know what happened, but Arsenal, they were a bit too defensive in my opinion, and eventually they conceded that penalty that led to the equalizing goal by Julian Alvarez, by the way. So yeah, so these interesting talking points and all that. Of course, we are looking forward to the return fixture in the coming week. But away from that, we want to narrow our focus to the Premier League games. It has been an interesting title race between Arsenal and Manchester City so far. And of course, Arsenal being arguably the best team in England and for the most part in Europe leading up to now. And I think they are yet to lose any Champions League game up until this day and currently leading the Premier League table as they have always done, for the most part of the season. And then, as Manchester City also being very hot on their trail to chase them down and see if they can snatch this title from Arsenal as well. So yeah, interesting events happening in the last couple of weeks. So AY, right now you are playing against a Fulham side that you could say that some days they perform, some days maybe not so much, but a Fulham side that has lost only one game in their last five, sitting 10th on the table, mid-table if you like. And then an Arsenal side that is actually fighting to win their first Premier League title in over 2 decades. I don't know. What are your thoughts about this game? Because it looks like every single game Arsenal will be playing between now and the end of the season is a final. What are your thoughts? Arsenal Fulham.
Yeah,
AY.
you're correct by saying every single game that we have from now, from the Fulham game to back to the Atletico game, then the remaining matches that we have, Burnley, Crystal Palace, and one other game that we have, they are all finals. And the first thing is that it's a derby, so it's a very difficult. It's going to be a very difficult game. Forget that they are sitting tenth on the table. It's going to be a very difficult game for us now. And the first leg we narrowly won by 1-0 away from home. So we are currently at home, and I think he would start Mosquera at right back, and I think Calafiori would start this one because both of them did not play in the Champions League draw against Atletico. I think he's also going to, or he might start Bukayo Saka, and maybe Eberechi Eze can also start this one. I don't know if Kai Havertz will be back. I don't know when, or we don't know when Timber will be back. But I think it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be cagey, and it's going to be a difficult game for both Arsenal and Fulham. Luckily for Arsenal, Alex Iwobi will not be playing, and I think he's like the main guy that's that anchors their
That
midfield or
midfield.
that controls their midfield. Even though over time, over recent years, Alex Iwobi, I don't know why he really doesn't play well against us now. I don't know, maybe it's still the
Love.
loyalty or the love. But one player that would play, or two of Arsenal's player that would play for Fulham, they are Smith Rowe and the keeper Ben Leno. So they would want to stamp their foot and see how they can um, affect Arsenal's going ahead to win the title. And if Arsenal win against Fulham, we are going to open up a 6 points gap on the top of the table, and it's going to be prayer on Man City to win away at Goodison Park now at Everton. So if I'm to predict, I think Arsenal would win maybe a narrow 1-0 or 2-1. So it's not going to be more than one goal margin, let's say, because Ateta would also have the second leg of the Champions League in mind, and he would not want players to injure themselves. Players like, because we have core players like Gabriel Saliba, players like Declan Rice. These guys would always play every match, no matter how tired they are. Raya number one, Gabriel Saliba number two, then Rice. Then any other person he can toy with. The right back he can use Mosquera, he can use Ben White. Left back he can use Nkapi, which has been very fantastic. He can use Luis Kelly, he can use Calafiori. Midfield he can always toy around. I said Bukayo, Odegaard, Zubimendi, Nogard, even though we've not seen Nogard in months. So those major players, I'm sure he would not want them to get injured. So I see maybe a 1-0 win for Arsenal against Fulham.
Interesting. Interesting. I don't know because yes, like you rightly mentioned, it's going to be very, very cagey, especially because it's a derby match. So regardless of where both teams sit on the table, it's going to be a really, really tough one. And quite honestly, I just hope that we are blessed with a game full of drama. But I don't know, Shola, do you have anything to say about this game? What do you think?
I predict a win for Arsenal. It's not going to be an easy win, but Arsenal have everything they they can use to win that game. And of course, they are fighting for the title, so they better win. So, so I think Arsenal will win, and we increase the pressure on the other side against City. So
Great, great. Staying with you, Shola, you know, looking at the United Liverpool game, I don't know, for some reason the last time we were saying that, oh, Liverpool, they've not really been for the most part they haven't really played very well in Premier League games, and then haven't been knocked out of the Champions League as well. But there was something you said that was very significant the last time. You were like, it doesn't matter what we are thinking about Liverpool leading up to that weekend, right? Their previous game, but they are definitely going to win. And coincidentally, that was exactly what happened. I don't know where you got that confidence from, but that was exactly what happened. Now they are coming to play Manchester United at Old Trafford, who so far has played 34 games, lost only 3 at home at Old Trafford, especially since Michael Carrick came. They've lost only 1 under Michael Carrick at Old Trafford. But Liverpool coming into and to Old Trafford to play an informed Manchester United side with the top assist holder sitting in that team as well. And goodness gracious, Kobe Mino signing a new contract. What do you think are the chances of Liverpool in this game against Manchester United?
this one will be an interesting game. But in a way, I just don't see Liverpool beating us. But at the same time, I don't see us beating them with their current form right now as well. And we have Kunya, who is a doubt. Ahmad has not really been scoring. Bemo has not really been scoring. And Shesko, we all know that we will have preferred Shesko coming up from the bench. So Shesko starting all the time, it doesn't seem to really work out for us, unless maybe 1 or 2 times for his individual brilliance and stuff like that. But with what we saw, Menu, Casemiro, and Bruno display in the last match,
Outing.
And of course, Harry Maguire is back. I don't think Lisandro Martinez is years back. I think he has one more match to serve.
Yeah.
But Harry Maguire, Evan again, Shaw and Dallo, I think we probably have those four at the back. And then the midfield is solid. I just hope that Buemo will be back to firing and Ahmad can get his confidence back. If you can have those two firing and getting their confidence back, I think then we can say that we can put the match to bed. But due to the recent Liverpool form, I think we might go with a draw in that match.
I mean, I agree with you when you say United, it's almost unlikely. It's not impossible, but very unlikely that we would lose to this Liverpool side. But I kind of like get a bit worried because they are now finding their rhythm. So you see, Kekes haven't taken off the first team and then relegated to the bench, and then Robertson, who has had a lot of Premier League experience, coming back into the team, and these players understand the rivalry between United and Liverpool. But then again, we are playing at home. We are one of the most informed teams in the Premier League at the moment, with Bruno Fernandes doing what he does best and creating assists. But yes, I strongly feel like for some reason, Manchester United might narrowly edge Liverpool for this one. But that's my thought. That's my opinion. AY, what do you think about this game?
So it's going to be a difficult. It's going to be a very, very difficult game for both teams. United won the first leg, if I'm correct, away from home,
So on.
and this is going to be more like revenge for Liverpool. We are not sure if Salah would play this game because he opted out of the last game, and secondly, I'm liking the midfield of Bruno, Casemiro, and Menu, and it's actually very, 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 very nice. But one thing that and Bruno is someone that he would rather assist now than score. The the last goal he scored, the last goal he
More
assisted,
assists.
he had normal Bruno that we know from that spot would play the shots and it's going to score. But he gauged both players. He saw Mbuemo, he saw Sesko. He was like, wait, who will give me my assist between these two players? Because Mbuemo is not in form, Sesko is way better. So he decided, then he noticed that the defenders went to meet Mbuemo, then he passed to Sesko, and Sesko scored. So he would also want to hit his 19th or 20th assist in this game.
20.
And Liverpool too would not want to lose as well, because if they win, Man United, you are on 61 points, Liverpool is on 58 points. So if Liverpool wins, they are going to probably be third, and
Yeah.
United will go fourth. And nothing is certain, but we kind of know the people that would be in top four, top five. Liverpool would go, United would go. Maybe it's Villa that would maybe make the fifth spot. So it's going to be a very difficult game. I want Liverpool to win, to just to so that the table to also be interesting, like the first and second, so that it will be interesting. Then United will now have a must-win game in their next game if they want to keep the status. I want Liverpool to win, but I think Man U might also edge this one because of, number one, they are home. Number two, their defense is beginning to get into form. Look at Evan. Evan that Arsenal sold to United is actually a very, very, very good defender. So I maybe 2-1, 2-1 to Man U, but I want Liverpool to win.
Key players for this particular fixture. AY, three key players.
For both teams.
Yes, each team 3-3.
Okay, for Manchester United, of course, Bruno. Two is Maguire, that Maguire or Evan. Then three is whoever is playing your front, because Ahmad is dead, Mbeumo is dead. Cunha should be back, if I'm correct.
He's
So
in doubt, but we are not really sure. We are not very sure
yeah,
about.
so Casemiro, because Casemiro is also, he has been scoring. I think he has more goals than all midfielders, if I'm correct, as a midfielder. I think he has more goals than all. So Casemiro, Bruno, and Maguire. If Casemiro and Bruno, if they play very well, they will either score or provide goals to the strikers that would score.
And for
For
Liverpool,
Liverpool, I wanted to say McAllister call. This guy that scores free kick, what's his name?
Obviously.
Soboslai.
Yeah, Zoboslai. And I don't know why he doesn't want to start Ngomoa. Ngomoa is better than all his wingers, maybe apart from. He's better to me. He's better than Gakpo. He has footwork than Gakpo. He has the flair than Gakpo. But to answer your question, I would say Zoboslai. I also choose Van Dijk because Van Dijk is also their defender, and who plays there, and Isak. Yeah, Isak is also key.
Right. Isak is beginning to look threatening because I mean he
Yeah.
got his first goal, Abi. I mean in the last game he got a goal. So yeah. Shola, what do you think? Key players from each team.
Yeah, Isak is beginning to look like just for him to get injured again and go for. I mean, for United, as rightly mentioned, I would choose Harry Maguire. I will choose Bruno Fernandes, and then I won't go to any forward at all. I will choose Sene Lamens, our goalkeeper, just because nothing is happening in that front. But at least with Bruno, we can make something happen. Yeah.
I agree. Sene Lamen is interesting. I agree. And then moving forward,
What about
look at
Liverpool?
Liverpool, I will
yeah,
also
for
choose
Liverpool,
Sloboslai. I will also choose Van Dijk, and
they have Florent Wirtz there, they have McAllister, they have Robertson, there is the goalkeeper as well, and then you look at Jones, Konate,
ah,
Van Dijk, you
I will,
know,
I will, I will, I will go with, I will go with, I will
Ahmad.
go with White. I will go with White, just because he's also
Okay.
picking form now, and he has good reading of the game. He can take on players. He can also score. I'll just go with him. Yeah,
So for United, Sene Lammens, Bruno Fernandes, and
Harry Maguire,
Harry Maguire, and for
Liverpool, Van
Liverpool,
Dijk,
Van Dijk.
Sloboslai,
So
and Wirtz.
okay, all right. Now it's this particular one is very tricky because if you remember the last weekend when Spurs played and then West Ham played, I mean those games were quite close to each other, and then you notice that West Ham snatched the win at the end, the dying moments of that fixture when their striker Callum Wilson scored the winning goal for them, and before then Tottenham had gotten the win and they were, and a couple of points ahead of West Ham. And West Ham was in the relegation zone. All of a sudden, when they were equalizing, where Spurs was on top. And unfortunately for Spurs, Wilson got that winning goal and then Spurs went down to, 18th position. So yes, it's very, very tricky between Tottenham, who stays on top, or West Ham, with 2 points separating the two teams. West Ham sitting on 36 and then Tottenham sitting on 34 points. But interesting one for Tottenham, who got their first win for 2026. But then again, they are now playing against an Aston Villa side that just recently lost to Nottingham Forest in the Europa League semi-finals, and of course, they are coming off that loss. And then you could also argue that, yes, because they've been a bit distracted with European football and domestic football, their last game they lost, But then again, they still want to qualify. They want to seal their top 5 position going into the final phases of the European tournament. Regardless of what happens in the European tournament, they are sure that they are still in the Champions League places. So they are hosting Spurs, Tottenham Hotspurs, who, like I said, just got their first win of the season. What do you think about this game? What are we expecting this game to deliver on the day, Shola?
I mean, I really want to see Spurs continue their momentum. At least, finally, now they've gotten that win. They know how it feels now to win. Hopefully that job is
So
up.
they didn't know before.
Hopefully that joggles something in their memory. Like, oh, this feels good. We should do this next week again. And Aston Villa, I mean, they are a solid team, proper solid team. It's no brainer why they are in the table. But Aston Villa at the same time, I'm not so sure about them. I don't think they are like obviously they are far ahead of Spurs, but at the same time, if not for the situation of Spurs, I mean Spurs and Aston Villa, like on paper, they are not so far off on paper. So just because of that, and now Tottenham have a fantastic coach, maybe a draw for this one, maybe a draw for this one. And Emery, I don't know, it seems to not be. I mean, with his form beginning of the season and with how he has set up Aston Villa, I would expect maybe they will even be second by now. But then he started losing matches, drawing matches, and so you never really know where you're going to get with him. And some matches
Could it
that
also be that it's partly because of their European commitment, trying to, see how far they can go in
I mean,
Europa
that's
League?
if you are saying that you are a proper team, that you are in top four, you're gonna play in Europe, so you have to. There's really no excuse for you. And as far as I understand, he's like managing everything within the club, so they give him that free hand to really decide quite a lot of things. So I mean, that's not an excuse, really. That's not an excuse. Imagine Arsenal or City saying that, oh, we are not doing this because we are playing this and stuff like that. So they can't, nobody can say that now. I mean, you had time to prepare for it. You know you're going to qualify for Champions League. You had time to prepare and all of those things. So, yeah, that's it from me, to be honest. I think Tottenham should get a point here. Maybe if not even the 3 points. All right. So,
Mm.
and that's it.
AY, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Does Aston Villa have a chance?
On the contrary, I think Aston Villa will beat Tottenham. If you saw the Tottenham Wolves game, the last game that Tottenham or the first game that they won this year, the scoreline actually did not say the full
It's good.
length of what happened in the game. Wolves had chances that they could have buried, and the last minute of the game or the last few seconds of the game, Wolves had a free kick that, thanks to Kingsley, would have gone in, would have been 1-1. They could have drawn that game
Yeah, I saw
because
that save.
yeah,
Brilliant.
it was a and on the side note, I would want to shout out King's Key because he's now getting better because he did not allow what happened in the Champions League where he conceded 4 goals in less than 30 minutes to actually affect his career, because that was a career defining moment for him. Now that he's back in the team, he has also contributed his quota. And that reason why I think Tottenham would not win is because Javi Simon is now injured. I guess he had ACL, so he's injured till next year. So that's also an addition to their list of injuries. Javi Simons is injured. Kudus is out. Kulusevski is out. Mario is out. Their keeper Vicario is out. Udogi is out. So even Solanke is out. So who do they really have to hurt Aston Villa that just lost in the Europa League? So it's going to be difficult. Another thing is West Ham would play before the Tottenham game, and West Ham, I think they are playing Brentford. So the outcome of that game would also determine. And I think it's three points between West Ham
Two.
and Tottenham.
Two.
They have so 2 points between West Ham and Tottenham. So it's going to be a very difficult game. I see Villa narrowly winning 1-0.
I mean, it's difficult to argue with you because when you mention the injuries that Tottenham currently has, with especially a player like Xavi Simons, who in the last couple of weeks has been creating quite a bit for the team, and him now being out of the team as well. You look at their current lineup; there is hardly a single player that you would find that has a rating of 7 in the entire Tottenham squad. So it's difficult to come against an Aston Villa side who, for the most part of the season, has been fantastic. So yeah, I quite agree with you. Difficult game, but I see Aston Villa also narrowly winning by 1 goal to nil. So yeah, good one. I mean, moving forward, you look at Chelsea, at least Chelsea. Since the is it laying off of Rosemary? Excuse me. You look at Chelsea since they decided to um, you know send Rosino packing. I don't know, what's his name now? Callum McFarlane has, I mean, found a way to,
It's just
motivate
one
this.
game now, which you found the way. It's just one game. He has only played.
But when you look at
He has
when you
only
look
played
at
one game and they won 1-0. Not like they scored 5 or something like that. Once he's found the
but
way.
the contrast in their performance from the game they won
That's what
under
players always do. They are
McFarlane.
stupid people. That's what. Sorry for the language. That's what players always do. Because obviously now you can't blame. You have nobody to blame other than them. So now they want to prove a point. So it's all
Okay,
psychology. Forget Callum. He will still play City now. We will see. He has been
okay.
found the
So
way.
since they want to prove a point, do you think Shola? Do you think they are going to continually prove that point against Nottingham Forest?
You see the Nottingham Forest that yesterday I thought Aston Villa was going to beat them. See, they
Hmm.
found a way to win by 1-0. So I mean, to be honest, I didn't even want any of either of them to meet yet in the semi-final. It's so unfortunate. I would have preferred the same way
Yeah.
Tottenham and United met in the final for these two English teams. And Crystal Palace also did fantastic against Shakhtar Donetsk, by the way, also winning that. So I mean, I love to see English teams do well in all these competitions. It shows in a way that in Champions League we may not have had that. Sorry to digress a bit. We may not have had that fantastic, but it shows that yes, English team we are still the one to beat in all of these competitions. And maybe Arsenal will also get to the final. So that would be nice for.
But you're not supporting English teams.
I mean, we can get to the final, but we're not supposed to be in the final. But I will
Can
support.
you
But
imagine?
I will support Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace in the final, surely. But if Arsenal gets to the final, I'm not supporting Arsenal in the final. Yeah, but at least get to the final first. At least we'll be happy that you get to the final to collect the trophies. Another different thing entirely. So for Nottingham Forest Chelsea, I think this will be a reality check now to send Chelsea to give them reality check back. That this is not Liam Rosinio. Remember, Rosinio did not really have all the faults in my own opinion, even though he had like a bunch of them, but not in my own opinion, doesn't have all the faults. So will Enzo Fernandez continue firing? Will Garnacho stop being Garnacho? And so I mean, Rhys James is still missing. Cucurella will probably continue what he does, which is being a fantastic defender. They have the resources, though. They have the resources to go ahead and beat Forest. But Premier League, you just never know. And Forest, they have been fantastic lately, you know. And who beat somebody 5-0? Was it Forest? Was it not Forest that beat somebody 5-0 in like their
Yes, it
scoreline?
was Forest.
Four
The
goals.
Yeah, last
Sunderland,
their last game in the league.
Forest Sunderland,
Yeah,
5-0.
Forest Sunderland. Imagine beating Sunderland 5-0. Sunderland, they've established themselves properly as at least a mid-table team. And for them to just be beaten 5-0 by Nottingham Forest that few months ago were battling relegation. So,
Whitewashing.
so I think this is going to be tough for Chelsea. Perhaps a draw. Perhaps a draw. And that reality check for McFarlane.
A draw is what Shola sees. AY, what are you perceiving for this one?
I also see a difficult game for Chelsea. McFarlane coming to take over the reins from Liam Rosinio. I think. What do I think? I think it depends on the front line. Personally, I would want to see, in as much as we actually don't like Garnacho, personally, I would want to see maybe Garnacho starts, Garnacho, maybe Neto, and this guy is back, João Pedro. João Pedro is back for Chelsea. And if not for the fact that João Pedro is back, I would have said Chelsea would lose this game. But João Pedro is someone that will hold on to the ball. He has a good hold-up play, would bring players into the game, and either score or at least make the game interesting and entertaining. For Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, they are on a very good run of form. They just won Sunderland, like Shola said. They also won the semi-final against Aston Villa. So it's going to be a very difficult game for Chelsea, and it's Monday. Is it Monday night or Monday afternoon football? And Chelsea might actually end up 10th or 9th. I don't see Chelsea winning that game. Honestly, I don't see, because who do they have to score apart from João Pedro? That's the question. This is a Chelsea that they've only scored one goal in their last 5 games, and that
Ganacho.
was and and that was the goal they scored in their last match. One goal in their full 5 games. If you want to give goal of the month in Chelsea, who will you give? When in when in 1 month, or in over 1 month, they only managed to score one goal. So it's going to be a difficult game for Chelsea. Chelsea, like Arsenal, are struggling. They don't know how to score again. But Arsenal, they are still finding a way to grind out the results. Let's see what Chelsea are. But I think it's going to be a draw or a Forest win.
Right. I mean, Victor Pereira has been doing a very fantastic job since coming on as the Forest manager. So yeah, I actually think that Forest possesses a lot of firing power ahead of Chelsea. Even though you could say that, oh, João Pedro is back and whatnot, and then Enzo Fernandez scoring in their last game. But I think all in all, Nottingham Forest possesses a lot of firepower in their captain, Gibbs White. You look at Igor Jesus, and then Chris Wood also, who is back from injury, scoring goals as well. So yeah, I agree with your prediction, Shola. Either with AY, I agree with your prediction. It's either a Forest win or a draw for that one. And then Everton, Manchester City. There was one point we were saying that the Everton new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium, is a difficult place to go to, and then teams, hardly go there and get the wins. But again, few weeks later, we started seeing them, losing games even at home. And right now, it looks like in the last 5 that they've played, they've only won one of it. They have lost about 3 games. Had one draw and then lost and won only one as well. Now they are hosting a Manchester City side that is hot on the heels of Arsenal. And what are we expecting for this particular one? Shola, I'll go with you first. What are you expecting for this game? What do you think Manchester City can do, to keep the fire as they chase Arsenal for the title?
I think David Moyes should do something for his boy now. He should do something for Mikel Arteta. He managed
Yeah,
Arteta in Everton. So he should do something for his boy. He should probably just go for coffee before the match and say, my Oga, do something for me. Make this a
go
top.
and double for him.
Exactly. So and Dubai, if you even put out, we probably have his phone number. You just call, like, start discussing about all of the good things they did together in Everton. And then you were like, you know what? I know what you are trying to say. You don't have to talk too much. I get it. City are going to be shown pepper. So I think there should be something. There should be an element of that in Moyes. Like maybe we could be bantering, but I feel like these players should be like, let me try to do this for Arteta. It's not going to be an easy one, but let me try to do this for someone who have been a fantastic midfielder under me. So I think it's going to be, regardless of that anyway, regardless of the emotional connection he probably has with Arteta, this is still going to be a tough one for Man City regardless. Unfortunately, I don't think Jack Grealish is going to play in that match. It would have been nice to see him play against his old team, previous team. But I think Everton have enough players to challenge against City. In fact, like they are one of the proper teams that City are going to play. So I think this is the one for Arsenal to actually watch and be hopeful that Everton gets something from Man City. Maybe even a win. They can get a win. They have what's the this name of this their striker Ben.
Barry.
No, not Barry. They have this number
Um,
9 guy that he's been firing for some time now.
Beto.
Bento, yes, Bento.
Oh, he's injured,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Oh, he's injured now.
Yes.
Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. But again, Everton, they have Pickford, who is also always going to. He loves big matches. He rises up to the occasion. They have Ndiaye. They have Barry, like you said. They have really really nice and fast players. They can get the job done. I think they can get the point. I think they can get like a draw in this one. Perhaps they can even get a win. I don't want to try to equate it with the firepower of Man City, obviously, because Man
Mm.
City, when you start talking about them, you see how creative those players can be. Like even by mentioning their names, you know that this is it. Like Cheki want to talk about, is it Haaland now
Mm.
that is back to scoring form? Is it even their goalkeeper Donnarumma, who is as long as a bridge that to get past him, you know? But that's not always like football. So I think David Moyes, he has the experience, he has the players, he has the stadium, and he has everything to get a point. Let me just be conservative and say a draw, a draw. Also something to make it interesting, a draw. A win would be like trying to stretch it now. But a draw, a keenly contested draw, I think that would be my prediction for this one.
I mean, a draw for Arsenal if they come off a win against Fulham in their game would be a fantastic result,
They will be
and I'm sure
placing a,
AI you would gladly accept that. What do you think? Is there a chance that David Moyes might want to do something for his former captain?
So for me, I think the result of whatever happens against Fulham for Arsenal has a large thing to say in this City game, because if we drop points, City would definitely win Everton. But if
Mm,
we go ahead and win Fulham, that's 6 points gap. Then the prayer now is on City to win Everton. Do I want City to win? Of course not. Can Everton beat City? It's very slim. It's like 1 out of 10. The probability is like 1 out of 10. Because why am I saying this? Because City or Everton, they are winless against City in like maybe 5 or 6 games. They either get battered by
yeah.
City. I guess the last game was 3-0 City win. So it's going to be a very difficult game for Everton. Do I want City to drop points? Absolutely. And if I'm to predict, of course I would want City to draw. Like Shola said, I would want a draw, but I think City, they have the players to open up defense. Look at Czech, for instance. See how we went through, sliced through Arsenal's defense like butter. And if you can do that, who do they have? Self? They have Tarkowski, they have Mikelenko, they
Mm, they
have
have
Coleman.
mm.
Aha. So I want City to drop points. Will they drop points? I don't know, but I see City narrowly winning actually. But maybe a draw, win or draw for City.
I mean, there's that sentimental aspect of me that wants Arsenal to eventually win the league, even though I do not like them as a team, you know. But then again, when you look at this Everton side, it's difficult to put them side by side with the City players, but they are a very good unit as a team. So regardless of who they play, they are always going to make life difficult for the opposition. However, I tend to agree with what AY is saying. As much as we would want Man City to drop points in this fixture, it's it's really really unlikely in my opinion, right? Because you look at the front three of Manchester City, Doku can act like flash and just go past any defending player, any right back whatsoever. In fact, there are days that he has been, chastised for not even taking chances to at least score the goal. For the most part, he wants to give an assist. So yeah, side by side, no match for the City players, and then them having good players. I think Sheki is second on the top assist list. You look at Alan with the highest goal. You look at Semenyo also being among the top three highest goal scorers of the league. All of these players in one team. I honestly think Manchester City is going to take home all 3 points. So yeah, and then that brings us to the end of this interesting episode. Hopefully, we would see what the prediction ends to end up as we have discussed here, and then leave your likes, leave your follow, and then also share this video to also encourage us to continually making videos like this. So thank you very much, and see you on the next one.